Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Shay, and today we're going to be checking out a video called 10 Things of Foreign Affairs When Dating a Filipina by the Filipina P. If you guys watched my previous reaction video, it is basically the same thing, vice versa. Note a few things in the previous video. Some things I thought maybe were slightly exaggerated, although she's obviously speaking from personal experiences. Maybe what she's heard from her friends, maybe from basic observation. But this one I'm very curious because this is obviously from her perspective. I want to hear the 10 things that foreigners have showed her that they fear when dating a Filipina. By no means am I saying that I'm out here trying to date Filipinas. I'm just very curious. And being that all of you guys, well, most of my audience, most of you who are watching this video are Filipino, I thought this might be a good one to watch together. So based on that note, let's play the video. The Filipina P.
Hi folks, the Filipina P here. And today I've got another one for the ladies. Last time, I exposed our fears about dating a foreigner. But today I'm gonna flip the script and tell you what haunts the foreigner's mind when faced with the prospect of dating us Filipinas.
Okay.
If you thought they weren't plagued by doubts and insecurities, then you either weren't paying attention or just don't understand them well enough yet. And that's what I'm here for, to bridge the gap and clear away the misconceptions. Now, I would never presume to claim that I know what it's like to be a foreigner, but I can share the many experiences and examples that I've seen firsthand, along with all the things I've heard foreigners say every day through an endless stream of requests for advice and details about your individual situations. I always considered one of my biggest strengths to be the fact that I was a good listener and an observant person, a sort of fly on the wall of your psyche. Now I can use what I've learned to paint a picture of what's going on inside your heads. What I've found is that the concerns of you foreigners aren't silly or funny, but more logical and serious.
I'm assuming this is based on foreigners dating Filipinas in the Philippines and not Filipinas in general, because then they kind of change, kind of becomes less fierce, if any fears at all.
As Western men tend to be, and you have a lot of them. Yes, of course, I know that not all these fears are common to every man. Different personalities and different life situations result in different worries and insecurities. But I'll tell you what I think your worst fears are. And you can tell me where I got it right, got it wrong, and what I might have missed. Now let's take a look into that deep abyss of apprehension, shall we? Buying an illusion. Your biggest fear? That this whole idea of looking to a foreign country to find the woman of your dreams is just that, a dream, that will quickly turn into a nightmare worthy of Dante's Inferno. There's a little corner of your mind that believes what your ex-wife, your friends, family, and co-workers might have said when they wondered, what's wrong with you? That you can't find a good woman in your part of the world.
Oh no, I don't give a shit about that.
You're a fool for wrecking your whole life to chase some young mail-order bride in a third-world country. You're just a dirty old man with a bad case of
if anyone has that opinion,
and they're gonna chew you up and spit you out.
Is that not your family?
They seem to think you're walking the plank with a blindfold of delusions wrapped tightly around your balding head. And you're gonna be ruined by the time you realize just how stupid you are. And that stings when you hear it. Because a piece of you believes that, yup, you might be buying a big old bottle of snake oil that everyone else knows is worthless.
Obviously, it depends on the individual.
Foolish, gullible, or desperate to see it for what it really is. After all, your life experience has taught you that when something looks too good to be true, it probably is. Your biggest fear is that everyone else was right. What people don't understand, of course, until they've been through it, is that you realize something's not right in your home country. There's an imbalance in the force. It seems like everything suddenly turned against you while you were just minding your own business, working hard most of the time, and trying to be a productive member of society, just like your parents taught you to be. But now your women and your society in general have made you feel unwelcome in your own backyard. You might have been financially and emotionally devastated by the court system there.
Oh, no, we haven't gone that far yet.
You feel like you don't deserve a place at the table, that you're disrespected or even despised.
Disrespect,
Your
definitely.
prospect for finding
Definitely feeling
happiness
it.
on your home turf ain't looking so good. You feel like a man without a country, and you've decided to look
actually
to friendlier
do.
shores. Or maybe it's as simple as you're being attracted
Oh,
to Asian
shit.
women that live a traditional lifestyle. So you've decided to investigate a place where you can find what you're looking for. But either way, it's a risky plan. And when there's risk, there's fear.
It's so funny that she said that because I feel like my country is wherever I'm at. A man without a country. Holy. I think there's another reason why I really wanted to get my traditional ink done, just so I could take home with me. So it don't matter if I'm in New Zealand, Australia, Philippines. Home is where the heart is, and my heart is right here. And if my heart is here, then that's where home is. That probably sounds a bit selfish, but if you've been through some of the experiences that I've been through lately, you'll totally understand. Man without a country. That actually has a nice root to it, a man without a country. That to me screams lone wolf. Man on a mission. Traveler. A vlogger. Fucking rock star, mate. Play the video.
Fear of buying an illusion. Wallet worries. Do you have enough money to make it here? What will everything cost? Can you live
to
a
an
decent
extent.
lifestyle? Is the money you have left after being raped by everyone else in your life gonna be enough? And will you have the money necessary to hold the income of a
Those scissors,
Filipina?
mate.
Which opens the door to your biggest financial concern. Is the woman you're dating just after your money? Are you just some dumb clown whose sole purpose is to provide for her family?
Well, that comes-
like a dog infested with
If a girl is only after your money, or you think that, or you don't know that and you're wondering if it's that, then that comes back to your judgment of character. Which is funny, me talking about judgment of character, because my character has actually been in question by people as of late, or maybe a particular person. And even though they completely missed the mark on that, it just comes back to the individual at the end of the day. So it's pretty much all in your hands.
ticks, draining his lifeblood as he happily wags his tail. If you invest in a house or a business for your Filipina, is she gonna end up laughing all the way to the bank while you end up begging other foreigners for a plane ticket back home with your tail between your legs?
You got to
And
be
the
able to read
maniacal
those sorts of
laughter of your
people,
ex
not even just in the
ringing in your
Philippines,
ears?
just
Wow.
anywhere.
Even I could feel the blast of those truth bombs half a world away. So how much of it is love and how much of it is money? Well, I'm not here today to evaluate each of those fears, but I've tried my best to provide you foreigners with the tools necessary to avoid most of those traps if you're careful and take my advice. But yes, those are the financial concerns that foreigners have about getting involved with us Filipinas, and rightly so. Failure to launch. Okay, we Filipinas have him, and we know you guys have him too. Fears about your body. The ravages of time spare no one, so it only makes sense that the older you are, the more
Well, yeah, this only
concerned you're
goes.
gonna be about
This only
how
applies to a
attractive you
particular
are to the
age group,
opposite
so
sex.
we probably could skip
Looking
past
like
this.
you just swallowed a beach ball isn't a particularly attractive feature in any culture, and neither is a
And maybe
forest of hair
some of
sprouting
it
from your
applies
ear
to some of us.
canals. Fortunately for the foreigners, we Filipinas not only accept graceful signs of aging, but in our culture, an older man is not only respected, but can be very attractive to us as well. Contrary to the fears of many foreigners who often come from societies where an acceptable age difference is no more than 10 years. In their minds, if we're with someone a little older than that, we must be faking it, which is often not the case. As for sexual performance, you might not believe it, but foreigners can even have concerns there as well. Aside from age, which of course can make the act more difficult, many of them feel the pressure of trying to please a Filipina, since they expect us to be blown away by their experience and technique. While we worry about their whipped cream and their chandeliers, they have the performance anxiety of providing us with a legendary encounter that we'll be telling our friends about for years,
Oh, it's always going to be legendary, mate. Don't you worry about that.
or laughing about for decades. Talk about pressure. Relationship reality. The first thing that often comes to mind when you look at the picture of your beautiful Filipina, especially one younger than you, is, how could this angel, this gorgeous creature, possibly be interested in me?
Descriptive words.
You think you must be kidding yourselves to believe that you could keep us happy for a lifetime. But isn't it interesting that that's the exact same question we Filipinas ask ourselves when thinking about you? And there's a whole host of other worries that trouble you. You believe we might cheat on you, that we might trick you into a pregnancy, that we might already be married or have kids or husbands that you don't know about, or that we might suddenly shift to a bad place on the crazy hot matrix graph. Maybe we'll get too jealous. Maybe we'll become too demanding. Maybe we'll just go cold once we get what we want. Well, most of those things can, and occasionally do, happen in all relationships. So that's nothing new. But if you decide to take us home to the West, your insecurities can multiply faster than dribbles in a grain silo. Remember the car analogy I used in the last video? Well, now your Filipina is the customer. And she's able to pick and choose pretty much any model she likes. And this time, the dealership's jammed with pushy salesmen trying to get her in the back seat of anything on the lot. You know this is true, and you fear it. You also worry that we might become westernized, especially if we're very young and you're well aware of the divorce rates in your home country. By this time, you've married us. So the cost of miscalculation could be so disastrous. You might not want to live in the Philippines, but taking us back to the West is risky too. What to do, what to do.
This just sounds like one big shit show if you ask me.
Even if you successfully conquered all your other worries and found the perfect Filipina, you've been together for years and everything seems fine, you still have fears about what happens next. The biggest one? Will we still love you when you're old? I mean, really old? No one wants to be alone in their golden years, so you want to choose your mate wisely. And what happens to your partner if you pass away first? Can you still support her after you're gone? What if you started a family with your Filipina? Will they be okay?
My stress levels have
just
gone up.
Will you stay healthy long enough to properly raise your kids and be the loving mentor that they need? Well, I'm certainly not in a position to address those fears for you, but I can tell you that your chances are pretty good when it comes to having us stick by you. We Filipinas are notoriously good caregivers. We're loyal to the ones we love. We're dedicated mothers, and we respect people of advanced age. Sure, there are evil or misguided people on both sides of the Pacific, but I tend to believe that in most people, the desire to be a decent human being outweighs their less honorable intentions. When people say, all Filipinos are con artists just waiting to take your money, they're so wrong. Sure, there are dishonest and desperate Filipinos who'll bleed you dry, but tell me a country where that's not the case. And when someone says, all expats are just broken down rejects fleeing their own countries to prey on young, naive girls, all I can say is that you're wrong there too. Sure, some men are like that, and I have no sympathy for them when they take advantage of my sisters, but that's just not the average foreigner. When someone says things like that, they're seeing what they want to see and reacting to their own limited experiences with a person from another culture. I'm truly sorry if you get burned by someone, foreigner or Filipina. But think about it. Don't people from all societies get burned occasionally? Your bad experience doesn't mean that everyone in that group acts the same way. That's almost the definition of bigotry.
But what if they have been acting that way?
My job is to expose the good and bad in my culture.
Is that bad luck?
And explore differences in our people so that we understand each other better and can make informed choices when dealing with a stranger from a strange land. There are great women here that don't just want you for your money. And that's just something you have to believe and understand. Because where there's honest understanding, there's trust. Where there's trust, there's less fear. When we no longer fear, we can actually have successful relationships. And nothing would make me happier than that. So relax a little and just try to see things as objectively and realistically as you can. And let me know your other fears, the ones I missed. Meanwhile, I'll be cooking up something new for you to chew on. Till next time, folks.
Who There's a few other things, but I
And
can't think of them right now.
since it seems to be such a deep-rooted concern with some men, I'm going to expand on their fears about sexual performance. I worked long and hard on this.
Well, we can
And I
completely
was
ignore
in
this.
utter
This doesn't
pickle,
apply to us out there.
not knowing the best way to handle it until I discovered the work of a group of researchers. So now I can share their findings and get
Watch
to the
it
nut
anyway.
of the matter. Drs. John Thomas, Dick Peters, Willie Johnson, and Harry Longfellow have been studying the relationship between age and sexual insecurities, and we can plot their data on a graph. If I can just get this knob off. There we go. The x-axis is age,
Here she
and
goes
the
with the humor.
y-axis is the amount of insecurity a man has. The main vein of the doctor's research shows a heavy concentration of data points here and here,
We already know what she's going to draw.
indicating that both relatively young men and older men both show a high amount of insecurity. The interesting thing happens during middle age, when a man's stress level drops dramatically and he becomes more confident in his abilities. I suppose they get cocky about it. But then, an Asian researcher, Lo Wang, discovered a subset of men who only have a teeny-weeny bit of insecurity way down here. So there you have it, folks. Just let this research penetrate and sink in for a moment.
I'm not going to lie. The dialogue for this video is on point.
my
It's pretty
finger.
good. I'm enjoying it. Oh, we're back at the bar.
Just one last thing before you go.
It's the same video.
If you think about it, I'm kind of like your bartender.
There we go. We can
Listen.
stop it there. That was a great video. I think most of it. Actually, there was some of it that kind of surprised me. Like the whole man without a country completely threw me off. And the fact that someone would actually know that someone feels that way blows my mind. Because I didn't even know I felt that way until just now. But that was very interesting. I don't know, was there 10 things in there? It didn't feel like 10 things. But for foreigners out there who are looking for love in the Philippines, or the Filipino girl, and try not to let the fears get the better of you. That's all I can say. And if anyone's trying to talk you out of it, or take the piss out of you and tell you how ridiculous it is that this is something that you want to do, grab the scissors, mate, and chop it away. Because we don't need that kind of people in our lives, even if they have our best interests at heart. If they're not emotionally intelligent enough to realize that they're actually making things worse in our lives and are unable to support our life decisions, well, it's time for them to go. Well, on that note, I think that's really all I want to say about this video. Just curiosity at the end of the day. And whether I reacted to this or not, I would have watched it regardless. So you guys are very much welcome. And I'll see you all in the next video.